getting some work done. I've been working on quite a few beats. Today's beat is like it's like a Chris Brown vibe to it. Um, it's pretty, it's clean. It's one of those beats like it can be very hard for producers a lot of times. Not making the beat is hard, but uh, keeping the beat like as clean and simple as possible while having a pretty good vibe with it. And it's hard because a lot of producers, they, especially if they're getting into having a lot of plugins, they want to add more, including myself. A lot of times I feel like yeah, it's kind of dry, it needs more. But once you start thinking like the artist, or you're thinking about the artist being on the beat, like you tend to start eliminating some more instruments. So um, I did listen to Dame Taylor on that. For sure. Shout out to Dame on that. It's like think about what type of vibe like that artist wants. Don't just make beats, just make beats. I have I have a different ways of approaching that. Uh, I do want to make beats that appeal to certain artists that I'm looking forward to. Uh, Maybe in the future, who knows, for placement or anything like that. But at the same time, I'm working on my own vibes and I'm trying to have my own ways of making my beats, so they can have like their own sound essentially. It's good to work, in my opinion. It's good to work on both, like what's out there, what type of songs that certain, what type of beats like certain artists would enjoy, and at the same time you need to continuously work on uh, your own sound. And I know some of my sounds, like even if I drop them or if I send them out to some artists or some producers, they might look at it and like, it's way too experimental, or I don't know. I don't see how I can go about it. So that's why I use my own music in some ways. Yes, it's mainly to promote Fundor Collection, my brand, but honestly, it's also to showcase my production approach, different way I structure a record. So hopefully y'all can enjoy this beat. So I'm starting with the melody really that I had for it. There's one key melody here. So let me play the full song first, then let's see what. All right, so as you guys can tell, it's like it's a clean vibe. When I said it's hard for producers sometimes to make these type of beats, because again, uh, there's nothing complicated about what I'm doing at all. It's very easy. But sometimes some producers might feel like it's too simple, and it's you know they need to add more stuff or complicate the beat. And to be honest, like that kid, man, like Metro Boomin, he said it, like that sometimes some of his most chill beats, they're the one that becomes like you know hit records. And for him and his library, it was like just another beat, and that's what it takes. Because if I try to put my little Chris Brown mindset to this. This is how I go about this beat. Yeah, 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 I can definitely see Chris Brown vibe with that one. Definitely. And essentially, let me break it down a little bit. So usually, I kind of start with the melody. So this is the first part of it. And mind you, that's a stock plugin from FL Studio 21. Anybody who bash FL in general, hey, I respect that, you know. But like Timberland says, I'm gonna break it down for you. Like Timberland says, does it make sound? Yeah, it does. Is it music? Yeah, it is. Does it feel good? Yes. So if it feel good, it feels good. It is what it is. Because just like he said, like back in the early 90s, like going towards mid 90s and stuff like that, when people were like sampling certain records, some older people would say that's not real music because you taking an old song and you flipping it, you chopping it. That's not real music. You didn't come up with it. But at the end of the day, it's taking a classic and flipping it around, making a brand new vibe to it. So at the end of the day, what are we doing right now? To be honest, this sound, if it's right, I don't care if you made it in FL Studio, if you made it in Logic, if you make it on an MPC, if you make it straight from a keyboard, if you made it on Reason, if you made it wherever Studio One, whatever what you use for it. At the end of the day, if it feels good, it feels good. If it sound right, it sound right. End of story. That's my take on it. So that's what it is, man. It's tough out there. It's tough. Um, It's like when someone says, I have a college degree, and then someone else doesn't have a college degree, but they both have strong knowledge about it, about that particular subject. Does the person who has a degree, does that necessarily mean they're smarter than the other one? Not necessarily. Matter of fact, a lot of times just because you have a degree, you might limit your uh, eager to learn more because you say to yourself, I already have a bachelor in that, or an MBA in that, or a master's, whatever. And the other person who might not have a degree might feel like, man, the ones who have a degree probably know more than me. Or for me to compete with them, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. I need to learn more. So instead of taking an actual, you know, taking part of a program to graduate with a degree, they'll they'll play around like until they can learn online or take multiple courses. You know, shoot, they'll do whatever it needs to get done just so that they can feel like they can compete. And that's the problem because you have a DAW like FL Studio 21. Like, to be honest, I've used Logic, I've used Ableton, I've used Reason, I've used Studio One. What else? Shoot, I think what was the other thing? I used something a couple years ago. Okay, from the top of my head, these are the main ones. I've never made a beat on an MPC, but to be honest, man, like who cares? Like at the end of the day, when somebody's listening to this on the radio, as long as you're not just plainly like not even putting any effort, like if I get a guitar sample, I'll take that. I'll flip the polarity. I'll stretch it, going from 140 BPM to like 125, or from 125 to 135 because it fits better. I'll put the pitch up. I'll definitely be adding more synthesizers or bass line or piano to it. My drums, that's something I don't play around with. I'll make sure like I make my own drum patterns and tweak things around. Like all these things are important. And right now I'm in the middle of learning how to play piano. So um, obviously I'm not there yet, but that's for me. A lot of producers produce and they don't even know how to play piano. I mean, I've done quite a few beats in the past, and I've I've not played piano really. I mean, I've fingered the piano really, like just a couple notes and practice for like 3 minutes, and then and then play it just to record it. But I'm done with it. You ask me like to redo it, it'll take me a minute to do it again. So yeah, so that's all it is. I think this is the piano part. So that's like a sinister background, and I put a lot of reverb to it, but it has a little bit of saturation as well. So it gives some character to it, some ambient noise. What else? And then these are some. This is the bass line or background pad. And then usually I use my third one. So this is one of the hi hat. Well, that's the main hi hat. This is the clap, or not clap, definitely a bunch of snares, but this is how this one goes. That's like Timberland when he says he likes his snare to sound like a gunshot. Bam! You know, no weak snares. You know, and this one's just the kick. Play the full song again one more time. Yes, sir. All right. I think that's it for today.